welcome to Build. I'm Sam Thompson, and today I'm joined by the winner of the 10th series of America's Got Talent, who won the judges over with a little help from a little friend that is never too far away from him. Please welcome Ventriloquist, Paul Zerdin, and Albert.
It's great to be here. Hello, everyone. I've got Albert. Albert's in here. He's just coming to. He's been a lot of travelling recently, and so just give him a moment.
He's grouchy.
He's old.
How old?
He's 90 years old.
90
years old, and he's in a piece of luggage. He's all right though. He's quite happy usually. Yeah.
Well, we're going to give him a bit more time because we're going to say if you guys have a question for Paul, you can tweet us on @BuildSeriesLDN or comment below this video if you're watching on Facebook, mate. I'm a fan, by the way, just to let everyone know. I watched you on America's Got Talent, man, in 2015, and like, how did you even get on that show, by the way?
Very good question. So I'm obviously I'm British, I'm English, and I'm from London. And so if you were to enter Britain's Got Talent, the part of the prize is to appear on the Royal Variety Show, which I've already done a number of times over the years. So I thought if I rocked up on Britain's Got Talent, that would look a bit weird. So I thought, I know what, I'll go to America, and I'll sneak over to America. I'll have a go on America's Got Talent, and if it doesn't work out, I'll sneak home, and no one will be any the wiser. And then you forget about social media, and you forget about everything. Everyone knows everything, everywhere, anywhere. Luckily, it went very well.
You cracked it. You cracked the States, man. That's like the hardest thing to do.
Well, I mean, looking back now, it's quite surreal, really. But it was surreal while I was doing it, and I was gigging all over the place. I worked on cruise ships, still work on cruise ships. I was doing gigs all over the world, lots of comedy clubs, all sorts. And I was back and forwards while I was doing the competition. So I constantly having to change gigs around because I started to do well, got to the judges' cuts, then got through to the live shows, and I'm like, okay, so I've got to keep August and September free, and I already had gigs in the book here, so that kind of became, it became some issues, but well, we managed to get through that, and then I got into the quarterfinals, and then I was flying home to do some gigs in London, and then back into the semi-finals, so it was like a bit of a crazy time, really, but I knew I was doing well. I never expected to win, though.
That's the point. Could you believe you not only got to the finals, but won? Also, how hard is it to create new for you? Because you have to create new bits every single time. Was that a struggle?
Well, because I've been doing it for a long time and I've toured lots of different shows, I had quite a lot of material to sort of pick from. And so the producers said to me, you're going to have 5 spots if you were to get to the finals. What would you do? And so they were very helpful, and you get every act gets assigned a producer that looks after you throughout the competition. And I said, well, I'd probably do this for my 2nd spot. I would do this for the 3rd spot. And if I got to the finals, I don't know. I have to worry about that when I get to it.
And then you had to worry about it.
I did have to worry about it, yeah. But my first thing, which went really well, was my first audition. And I remember I'd been waiting. I was at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, and I was there. The call time was like 6:30 in the morning, and I didn't go on until 9:30 at night. And I took my girlfriend with me, and I just said, please, just stick around, don't leave me for too long before I lose the will to live. And I just go, I can't wait any longer, and I just have a strop, Occasionally I'll have a bit of a showbiz strop and go, I can't put myself through this. Anyway, we waited all day, and eventually I got the call, and then they were doing 2 shows, I think, recording 2 shows a day. And then I was put on the 2nd show, and then I was in the first half, and then I was put back to the second half, and I was so tired. I just didn't care anymore. But I think that kind of helped my attitude, because I didn't care. When I walked out there, I just thought, okay.
So relaxed.
I was very relaxed, and I thought, well, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm fairly experienced, but I'm now going to put myself in a position where I'm in front of 4 people who could suddenly just go and just make me look completely stupid.
And a live audience, as well.
And an audience of 2,000 people in the Dolby Theatre.
What are the States like? What are the American audience like? Are they any different than the Brits?
Well, having worked on cruise ships for American audiences over many years, I'm quite used to an American crowd, but you have to change little words, little things. Like I do a thing about being a ventriloquist. I can have fun in everyday life. Everything talks. You have, Siri on your iPhone. You have Amazon Alexa. You have GPS, sat navs. And I talk about, you have talking lifts, hotels, airports all over the world. You have the talking lift. I can go into a lift that doesn't talk and pretend it does. And the busier the lift, the better. In I go. Doors closing. That was me. In I go. Doors closing. Going up. Get out, fatty, you're too heavy. So I do a whole thing about, talking lifts and stuff. And when I first did it in America, they didn't know what I was talking about. Because it's an elevator, not a lift. So little simple things like that you have to change and just tweak. Very simple things, nothing major. But it took a little bit of time to just get my head around it. But my audition, and I still love doing this, and because I've got a microphone here, because quite often if you're doing interview, you have a little lapel mic or whatever. But the radio mic, the handheld radio mic, I love it because when I'm doing the sound check, I can make the sound man think that the microphone's out of sync. And I did this on my first audition at the Dolby for America's Got Talent, and it really helped me. So I go like this. I go, hello, 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 hello. Hello, and so that got me through.
That's a round of applause.
No, you don't. No, it's too late.
Mate, how do you do that?
Just practice, really. I mean, I spend a lot of time because it's my hobby. When I was a kid, I had no friends, and I started to make imaginary, friends basically, and start making things talk. And so I was always just fascinated by voices and sounds and characters, and I'm always thinking about different things and just thinking different things. I did something the other day. I was on holiday, and I was talking to some people at the bar, and I end up saying I'm a ventriloquist, and people it's an unusual thing, isn't it? There aren't many ventriloquists around, and on a holiday you meet someone who's you're a ventriloquist. Oh my god, okay, good, do some ventriloquism. And so it's always embarrassing, really, isn't it? Oh, what do they say? Do some presenting, do some acting, whatever.
Honestly, I belt it out when anyone, even when they don't ask, mate.
I can believe that. But when you're a ventriloquist, okay, all right, okay. So I just grabbed a packet of cigarettes, and I just went, hey, there's a little man in here. Can you hear him? And they just, I don't know, it's something that I can do, and that seems to work.
When did you first know you could do it?
I learned it from a book. It's something that anyone can do.
How could you learn how?
You can learn how to do it. Basically, I was always interested in all of that, like I was saying, and puppets and the Muppets.
We interviewed the Cookie
Sesame
Monster
Street.
yesterday.
Cookie Monster. I know, I saw that. And that's fantastic. And I grew up watching those characters, and so they were a massive influence. Anything that Jim Henson was involved in, I was there. But you can learn it from a book. I was given a book on how to become a ventriloquist when I was about 14 or 15 years old. And it tells you how to talk without moving your lips. So I don't want it to get boring, but you relax your face. You keep a little gap between your teeth and your lips, but just have a natural face. Natural.
This is natural. That's depressing. Ready? Okay.
Okay, and then you just say something. Just say hello. 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 That's it. So that's how you start. So you say hello, how are you? Say hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? There you go. And that's basically it. And then you start getting better and practice a lot, and you start putting sentences together and different words, and you basically just spend a lot of time in front of the mirror practicing.
I feel like I just did it there. I'm going to be honest
with you.
I honestly do feel like I just did. Why is no one round of applauding me for that?
Come on.
Thank you,
It was a start.
Please. And wait, you performed at Shirley Bassey's birthday, didn't you? Well, how did that come about?
Well, I did a talent show on ITV called the Big Talent Show in
1996.
1996. There we go. He's done his homework. And I won that show. And then I got asked by the producer, who was a man called Nigel Lithgow, who created Pop Stars and did all those shows, and now does So You Think You Can Dance in America, and he was one of the first of the producers to become a judge on one of those shows. And he asked me to. He said, "We're doing a big celebration, her 60th birthday special, Shirley Bassey. Would you come on and get your puppet Sam to sing one of her songs?" So I went, "Yeah, of course." And so I wasn't that familiar with any of her songs. Anyway, they found a song, and I did this song. It was called As I Love You, and Sam sang it to her. And I practiced with the MD. We had the musical director all week, and I knew it inside out. I knew it back to front. I could do it in my sleep. And it was a massive... They used to do these big shows on ITV called An Audience With, with lots of celebrities. They were a big celebrity audience. Then a normal audience of hundreds of people at the back. And it was like that. It was literally just celebrities everywhere. And I was one of the last acts to go on. And Jimmy Tarbuck, fantastic comedian from Liverpool, was hosting the show, and very funny. And then he introduced me, and by that, it was the end of the recording. It was quite a long show, and there'd been all sorts of people on there saying, happy birthday and singing songs, and Shirley was doing these amazing songs. And then I get out there with my puppet, and I've got to sing one of her songs to her, and I felt like such a twat. I felt such an idiot. And I started the song, and the puppet and the keyboard, the MD starts playing, and then Sam, my character, he's not here. So I've got the old man here, which I'll show you, but this is Sam. So I pretend Sam's here. So he goes, I will love you as I love you all my life. And then the next line completely went from my head. I just couldn't remember the rest of the song, and I completely dried in front of hundreds of celebrities, faces, every face I turned to, I knew.
This is my moment.
And it was just, yeah. Well, anyway, I did it again, and they in the edit they made it look all lovely. So you didn't see quite how twattish I looked.
And mate, this is at London Palladium, isn't it?
Oh, I think that is, yeah.
Yeah. What was that like? Was that a dream come true?
Well, so funnily enough, so Bradley Walsh hosted the last series of the Palladium series, which I was a guest on, and then I did a routine after this bit here where I turned Bradley into a dummy, and I put a mouth on him and turned him into a puppet. And it's radio controlled, so I then leave the stage and I'm still voicing him. So Bradley is talking to camera and talking to the audience, but I'm controlling the mouth. Can you get that, please? That's Bradley Walsh saying, "Get him off." And so I controlled Bradley. So he then linked into the break, and I was doing the voice. So that was there. But I actually did the last series that Brucey did when he hosted the Palladium show 15 years before that. Wow. I'm showing my age now. But that was called Tonight at the London Palladium, and Brucey hosted his last series. And I did a thing with Brucey where we had a big Bruce Forsyth chin made, and he had a mouth on it where I made him talk as well and made him look silly.
Do you know what? I wish you had one of them right now, because that could be so fun. But instead, we do have... Is it Albert?
We've got Albert in here, yeah. So...
yes!
Would you like to meet him?
I would love to. Would you guys like to meet him? Yeah.
Okay. On the count of 3, I want you all to shout, "Wake up, Albert." 1, 2, 3.
Wake up, Albert!
I can't believe you did that. You need to get out. Okay, so just give me a second. Let me just put this down here. Albert, come on. Come on. Here he comes. There we are. That's it. Here we are. I'll put you here. All right? Here he is. You okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Sorry, he's terribly deaf. Didn't mention that. So we're here. You okay? Say hello. Say hello. Hello. No, not me. This is Sam. Say hello to Sam. Good God. Hello.
Hello, Albert.
Hello. What's your name?
Sam.
Hello. So Albert's 90 years old, aren't you? I said you're 90 years old. So am I. That's right. And he's not been very well. Not been very well.
Why?
He's had terrible cold. Terrible cold. Tell him about your cold. Your awful cold. Why, can I have the microphone? No. It's better if I have the microphone. Why can't I have the microphone? There's a reason for that. What is it? Well, I'll tell you later, okay? So I'll have the microphone for now, okay? But I want to talk. No, you're going to talk, but I'll have the microphone. Oh, hello. I like her. I beg your pardon? I like her. I think she likes me. Really? Yeah. Hello. Albert, come on. Don't be... Come on, speak up, you dozy cow. Hello. Oi. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I'm chatting her up. Listen, if you're going to chat someone up, you can't... Listen, you've got to woo her. You've got to woo her. No. Yeah. Woo. Woo. I think it's working. So he's had a terrible cough. He's had an awful cold. And what did you do? I went to the doctor. What did he tell you? He told me to take a laxative. A laxative? Is that helping? Now I'm afraid to cough. It's all right? You're okay now, aren't you? Every morning at 6:30, I have a solid, regular movement. 6:30. That's good. That's bad. I don't get up till 7. So that's Albert. Albert, just sleep for a minute.
Oh, Albert. Give it up for Albert.
I just put him to sleep, just for a minute. Just give him a rest. Actually, that looks a bit wrong now.
Is Albert going to be joining you on your tour?
So Albert is on the tour.
Yes!
I find it very difficult, because sometimes when I do a lot of press, and I've done quite a lot of interviews today already, and we do, when you're promoting a tour, and you're very kindly having me on this show, you do back-to-back interviews. And so quite often when you're doing TV, they always want you there with a puppet. And so I've been on various, breakfast shows and magazine shows and stuff, and I'll do a bit with the material of the puppet, and then they ask me questions about the tour, and I can't concentrate because I've got to keep the puppet alive to make it look like he's alive, and I'm thinking about keeping him alive, but I can't multitask, so I then got to answer their questions. So it's easy if I just do that for a minute.
Go to sleep.
So don't be upset by him. He's just having a little rest.
It's 40 dates though, mate.
Is it 40? Is that what it is?
It's 40 dates in September. I know more than you do about
You've really done your homework.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. And when you say it like that, I go, oh my God, what have I done? But, you know, touring I've always done it. And because of America's Got Talent, I can go and do some gigs in America and Canada, and they sell that show around the world. So I get to do gigs around the world. But I live in London, and I love travelling, but I love coming home. And so I live in Wimbledon. And just get off, sorry. I love travelling all over the place, but I love living at home, and so when I can tour in the UK, I can get home a lot of the time. I'm staying in hotels some of the time, but yeah, it's. I mean, a tour is exhausting. The easy bit is actually doing the show. The hardest part is just spending your time stuck in traffic, and you find when you're on tour, you're coming back from gigs up north, wherever, and at night, every motorway is down to one lane for some reason. And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and there's
you're in a traffic
average
jam.
speed checks
Average
around.
speed.
What's the point? There's no one. We're just having. I could go on and on.
These are the things that people just don't. They don't see. They don't understand that. As long as you get to the gig and you're on stage when the people have paid to see you, that's the most important thing. But the rest of the time, we spend our time in service stations.
Yes, we do. When I'm gigging.
And traffic.
But so you got Albert, you got Sam. Is there anyone else who's coming along with you?
Yes. So there's the baby there, and
who is that?
And so he is Sam's younger brother. And the baby is always fascinated by the audience. And the great thing about a baby character is that you can have fun. So I don't have any children, but my sister's got a 3-year-old, a little girl, and a 7-year-old boy. And by the way, he loves Harry Potter. 7 years old, he loves Harry. I love Harry Potter. He's crazy about Harry Potter. And a few weeks ago, we had a family gathering, and it's me and him sitting on the settee watching the TV. And on the TV, it was Harry Potter. And my nephew looked at me and smiled, and then I smiled back, and then I did this, and ruined everything. He's literally, my nephew's here, and I went like this.
That is amazing.
Scared the shit out of him.
Oh my God, that's so good. You literally got it bang on as well.
So anyway, I fun, but I get, you know, I love people watching, and so I can watch my 3-year-old niece, and she just says things and does things that just give me so many ideas for the baby character, and also for Sam as well, because he's kind of like a 12-year-old about to become a teenager, and he's just always just, you know how kids are always pushing it, see how far they can go. So I've got this weird sort of muppety dysfunctional family really, and I'm kind of like the babysitter in the middle of it, trying to keep tabs on them and rein them back, and not succeeding.
Do they grow up ever? Or like, is in your head, are you like, oh, it's another year, he's 13
Well,
now.
Albert's aged very slightly. Because I worked out, I was doing some gags about the First World War, and I was thinking, actually, it doesn't make sense because he's too young. So I brought it, I've brought it forward to the Second World War now. So that, yeah, so the material, then I'm changing the material all the time as well. But obviously, he's going to be an old man for quite some years and look the same. What's going to happen is, you know, in 10 years' time, I'm going to look really bloody different, and they're still going to look exactly the same. And so when I'm long gone, I don't know what's going to happen. But I have radio control versions of them as well. So the puppets can come on stage on their own, and I've got these new little controllers that are made so that I can still operate the mouth.
And this is in the tour, isn't it?
This is on the tour, yeah. And
wow.
so for example, Albert's a manual puppet, this one here, but I can have him come on. We've got a radio-controlled mobility scooter as well. And that can come on, and I can control the mouth of the old man, so he can suddenly interrupt me. And Alan Titchmarsh had an afternoon show on ITV, and I was guesting on that a couple of years ago. And I said to the producer, after I'd done my spot, I said I've got a scooter with Albert on it, and it would be funny. And they said, oh, it'd be great. We could interrupt Alan doing an interview with, I think it was Il Divo or some big act on. And I said, yeah, don't tell them though. The producer and the director need to know, but don't tell Alan or the guests. And right in the middle of this serious interview, and they're promoting a big album, whatever, I drove Albert into the middle of this conversation. And Albert's going, hello, have you seen Matron? I need to get back to the home. It's rice pudding night. And was just talking complete bollocks and interrupted the interview. And I don't think the band were particularly impressed with that, but Alan was pissing himself.
Like, being a ventriloquist, does it kind of give you sort of freedom to say whatever you want? Are you just playing the puppets?
Well, it's funny because being a ventriloquist, I can tell that
the dry mouth
you're
is
like,
real.
oh my God, he's going to talk and drink water. No, he's not. I'm not that good. But it's funny, isn't it? Because I was just talking to this lady here. What's your name? Denise. So Albert was just talking to Denise, and he just called her a dozy cow or something. And now I couldn't have got away with that, but for some reason this puppet character got away, and they all laughed. So a puppet can definitely get away with a lot more than you know, a human.
And in terms of audience, you know, you said that outside when we were talking that the American audience maybe don't like sort of the swears as much and stuff like that. Do you feel like sometimes you want to make the humour sometimes a bit more adult?
Yeah, I mean, this tour is actually, I think it's a 15, so it's not meant for kids.
Nice.
So it is quite rude, and he's particularly rude, and he's always got trouble down below, and front and back is all. There's always some problem, and he is quite rude, and you know, you have to try and find a sort of happy medium really, because when you're doing shows, TV shows to promote the tour, most of the time you can't be rude. If you're on Breakfast Telly or This Morning or something.
You can on this, my good sir. We're all good.
It's very refreshing. But, you know, so you have to try and I make sure that I've got material in there, because I know that some people, if they see me at the Comedy Store or whatever, they expect it to be a bit rude.
Yeah.
But then I've got people that have maybe, you know, have seen me on Got Talent, America's Got Talent, whatever, and they've seen me being squeaky clean. So I don't want to upset people.
What do you prefer?
I want everyone to enjoy what I do, but I tell you, I did a family show a few years ago, a tour. I thought I got lots of kids wanting to come to the show, so I thought I don't want to turn away people. So we did a family show, and we had kids in the audience, but not that many. But I knew, because we were selling it as an 11 or whatever, I couldn't swear because it was being sold as a, you know, kind of a family show, and I felt really frustrated,
conflicted,
because I had some great knob gags that I couldn't do.
Can you do them now?
I could do one. Let's get Albert. Hang on, let's get one. Hang on.
Wake up, Albert.
Oh,
All right?
good evening.
You okay?
Yeah. Oh, good God, where are we?
You okay? You okay?
Yeah. Oh,
You all right?
oh.
You all right?
Had one of those examinations.
What do you mean examination?
You know, where they stick their finger right up.
I know what you mean.
I expect you do. He said to me, during this procedure, it is not unusual.
Are you talking about a prostate examination?
That's it?
You are?
Yes, good God, yes. He said to me, during this procedure, it is not unusual to get an erection. I said that I haven't got an erection. He said, no, that I have.
So, okay, actually, but that's an example of a knob gag I love to do. But yeah, so the show is a little bit naughty. It's not all that rude, but there's moments where, you know, we're talking about. There's a routine I do about Viagra. You know, he's getting to a certain age where he kind of, you know, is depending on it now, and so he can have fun with it. With a family show, I can't really do that sort of thing. So it's nice to be able to just say things like, for example. There's a routine that I do, for example, talking about voiceovers. Okay, so I find it fascinating. I love voiceovers. I love voices, and I've noticed that on television now, particularly, lots of cookery programs have a very patronising, irritating voiceover.
What is it?
And it's like, David is chopping onions. It's like, yeah, we can see that. It's like stating the obvious, right? David is now adding the chopped onions to the frying pan, which is frying butter and chopped garlic. We can see that David is now frying onions and garlic with butter. Yes, we can bloody see that. So I've now adopted the irritating, patronising, annoying voiceover in my everyday life. But I do it with ventriloquism, so people don't know it's me. It's 10 a.m. Zerdin is in a coffee shop. He's at the end of a very long queue. At the other end of the queue is a man who can't decide whether to order a skinny cappuccino or a yon-yon. Zerdin is losing the will to live. He just wish he'd make his order and fuck off. I mean, you know, so yeah, so it's a little bit naughty, but it's only kind of, you know, having done the Comedy Store for 20 years, you know, people of a certain age would go, oh, there's no need to be like that. Don't use that sort of language. And there is no need to use that sort of language. However, that's the sort of language that we all use now in everyday life.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't think it's such a big deal.
And talking about everyday life, do you take the puppets everywhere with you?
No, I don't talk to the puppets when I'm off stage. I'm not completely crazy yet.
Do you ever think about it?
No, but
when you're just at home, do you ever get Sam out and you're like, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this?
I tell you what I have started to do. When I was on tour in America and Canada a couple of weeks ago, and I started doing some sort of pranky type stuff. And so basically I was in this hotel in Chicago. I was ordering room service. I ordered room service for 2, and I set my phone up, and lined up the shot where I thought, well, the room service guy's going to come in and bring the table or the trolley or the tray, put it here. So I worked out roughly where the area was going to be, lined up the camera, pressed record, and then when he knocked on the door, I opened the door with Albert, and I had a conversation with me, Albert, and the room service waiter, and the room service waiter was genuinely talking to the puppet. And Albert's going, well, I didn't order that. Can I change it? And the guy goes, yeah, you can change it, but you're going to have to pay extra. And he was having a proper full-on conversation with the puppet.
At any point were you like, mate, what?
I was like, inside, I was like, yes, I'm glad. Because he might have just thought I'm a complete freak and just gone, here, there's your food, thank you, I'm out of here. But he didn't. He absolutely just went for it and was talking to the puppet, and he was laughing. And then at the end, I said, "I've just done this for my Instagram and for my YouTube channel. It's just a little prank thing. I'm a ventriloquist," and he loved it. And he said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Do you mind if I post it?" He went, "No, go ahead."
Well, talking about posting on social media, we've seen on your Instagram that Albert gets in a lot of precarious positions, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This being one of them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, see, he had a big drink problem, and then he joined Alcoholics Anonymous. He still drank, just under a different name. But that's from the Vegas show. So my Vegas show. It sounds a bit wanky, but yeah. So
I love the way you're not even in it. It's just like that's what happened to Albert after Vegas.
So basically, the set of the show in Las Vegas was just cases everywhere. It was like I had a VT at the beginning of the show, like I'd just been left in the desert. My Uber had left me, and I was just in the middle of the desert, and I had to get to the show in time. So there's a VT that played in. And then you see me arriving with all these boxes, and then all the boxes appear on stage. And so each character throughout the show is found in a different box. And there's so much luggage on stage, I can't remember which puppet is in which case. So I'm opening cases, and there's all sorts of shit coming out. Anyway, I can hear Albert. You can hear him going, "Oh," and I'm like, "Albert, where are you? Where are you? I can't see. It's dark." And then eventually I open this door, and he's having a poo. And he was radio controlled, so someone else was controlling him, but I was controlling the mouth. And I had a conversation with him at the beginning of the show while he's on the toilet.
That's so
and then I get
clever.
him, and I get the manual one out, and we swap them, and then I go into his act.
That is so clever. Mate, I'm going to be honest, I've just been told that that's all the time we've got. I almost want to take my earpiece out, but sadly that is all we have time for with Paul. But tickets for Paul Zerdin's Puppet Party are on sale now, and all details are on his website. We are back tomorrow with Jade Bird and the cast and creative team behind Red Jaune. Don't miss it. But for now, one last time, give it up for Paul Zerdin.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you so much. Loved it. Thank you.